Right, just in setup mode. I'm going to try and find us on YouTube. Let me have a look around there somewhere. There we are. Excellent. Welcome, Sally. Happy Easter Friday. Hi, Trudy B. Welcome. Hiya, Keith. I was having a few technical issues. I thought it wasn't going to happen then. So if you hear panic in my voice, that's why. Hi, Julie. Hi, May. Trina, hi. Hi, Sarah. Oh, it's lovely to see you all. Happy Friday. Happy Easter Friday. Happy Good Friday. And it's always a Good Friday when we can get to spend it together. How wonderful. How absolutely wonderful. Antonetta, hi. Welcome. Hi, Eddie. Welcome, Darlene from Georgia. Hi, Margaret. Melly, hi. Hi, Sally Sunshine. Yeah, I'm here now. You don't think I get just let a little thing like a bank holiday get in the way, do you? Nah. Bless you. Right, well, we'd best get on with it. It's lovely to see you all. Thank you so very much for taking time out on your bank holiday to come and join me. So this evening we're going to be playing with the badger. You know, I don't use this stamp often enough, and they're fabulous. I love the badgers. Look at him, and he's got a shiny home. So there's lots of shiny going on. Still a spring scene, albeit an evening spring scene. Excuse me. Not long had my dinner. That's the problem. Right. Let's see if we can do this without grotting myself. We're going to start off with some watercolour paper. And it is approximately 14.5 centimetres square. So that makes it 5 3/4 inch. So that's what we're going to start with. And I'm going to actually apply my ink using the mini hill masks. These, you get 3 in the set. They're absolutely gorgeous. And I'm going to use this big one for the badges set. It's perfect. But we're going to use the others as well. And that sort of sits exactly where I want it to. Perfect. So we're going to start with green sleeves. And I'm going to try not to hang myself around these cables. Let me just move that out of the way. That's better. Got charging cables and things everywhere. So we're starting with this lovely pale green sleeves. And I always start on the mask. And we can liberally pop that all over. I'm going to leave a little space for my badger. But I needed to know exactly where it was I was going to put him. So here he is. And I'm going to use Nocturne. And I'm only going to ink some of him up. I'm going to take a cloth and just soften off. This is a dry cloth. I'm just going to soften off that edge a bit. I don't want a sharp line. And we're going to pop him on that pale section. Hi, Lynn. Hi, Ruth. Welcome, Ian. Oh, it's Gloria, not Ian. We don't mind. Ian can join us as well. Let's get a clean cloth to wipe him off. That's better. So we've got our beautiful badger. We've got our first hill. So now I'm going to use that one to add a little village space. Again, I'm going to use the green sleeves. Oh, and again, look at that. It's perfect. No, I'm not. It's too hilly. I've just decided. We've got 3. We may as well use them. There. That's better. A little more shallow. It'll give us a little more depth. And I'm not adding any more ink to this section. So that one can just go there. Now I'm falling off the screen. Sorry. I'll bring it back up. Now I'm going to change inks and move over to Blue Lagoon. Again, in my lid. And this is for the real distance mountains or landscape. It's a really quick background, actually. If you're ever struggling, then just play with the mountain masks, the hill masks. They're perfect for this. And we'll have one more that we've not used. We may as well use the full set. If I can get it out the tray. Give me a second. Oh, there we go. There. There's a nice one. And again, just wiping that blue over the top. So we've got our landscape and our badger. So now I'm going to add a little bit of sky. Just with the brush, gently as always, with the sky. We're going to build that colour up, not try and get it down all at once. Hi, Keith. Hi, Sylvia. Welcome, everyone. Happy Friday. There you go. And I've left a little space, just a hint, clear. And this is so I can go to my dark midnight blue. Again, in the lid. And I can darken off just the sky around the edges. Now it looks a little rough and ready at the moment, but that's all going to change in a moment. It's all going to change. There. So now I've got a brush, and it's a number 4 brush from the 100 series, and some water. And what we're going to do, some of you will have seen this before. I'm going to use this water to make the landscape look like I've spent hours watercolouring it. See, you work smart, not long and hard. There's no charcoal on here at all at the moment. That ink, that's just water-based ink, that dark colour. And I'm just blending my hills out. It actually adds some nice shading too. The colours, it's a midnight blue. It is a blue rather than a charcoal colour. if at all during this process you find a bit that's a little too dark, then you can simply use some kitchen paper to lift that off. But this is so nice to do like this. I know it's a little bit cheating, but the effects are fabulous, and that's what it's all about. You've got the kit, you may as well use it to its best. Make the most of it. I'm trying not to touch that green. I don't want a wet in wet effect where it's going to bleed all over. I mean, it doesn't matter if it does, but I'd prefer it didn't. The far hills. Doesn't matter with the blue. What I like is it leaves this dark edge, so it defines the landscape more. Then we can work on the sky. So I'm going to start on the paler bit of the sky first, avoiding our whiter section. And that's going to be our moon. Now we can wet in wet with that dark. Look at that. You can see that blue better now. It's wet. And just use water to blend that dark through. Got lots of water on here. This is watercolour card, so it's perfect for it. It's beautiful, forgiving paper. It's beautiful, isn't it, the dark blue? It is gorgeous. There. Let's pop the world back the right way round. Making me dizzy, all that upside down stuff. Right, I'm going to dry that off. Helen, it's not a problem. You've made it here, and that's all that matters. It's lovely to see you. Oh, Sylvia, bless your heart. Let's straighten that up and have a clean piece of paper. There. Now we can do a little more stamping. So I have the gorgeous little tree scene. Now this packet of stamps, and it is a packet of stamps. I think you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stamps in total, and it's an old one. It's an old favourite of mine. Tree scene. It's LAV. So Lav 219 is the number, and I'm going to ink that up in Shady Lane verse Fine Clair. Now this is a permanent ink for those that don't know. So the background has been made with a water-based ink, so we can manipulate that simply using water. Shady Lane First Fine Clair, however, is a permanent ink, so once it's on, it's on. You're not moving it with water. So if you intend to add more water after you've stamped, then that's the ink to go for. And I'm going to pop that along that mountain. That really does help to give us some true depth to the picture. And some of my favourite little stamps. Oh, they're gorgeous. They're so, so tiny. And it's the small pixie houses. That's LAV 734 for those of you that like the numbers. And they're tiny. There's a set of 3 and we're going to use all 3 of them. So this time I'm moving to the Nocturne. Simple, beautiful, elegant and fun little stamps. There's number 1. Clean him off. Otherwise I'm going to get ink all over my fingers. Where's all his friends gone? There they are. And the second one is slightly smaller. Same ink. And I can pop him just a little bit further back. And then the final one of the set is tiny, teeny, weeny. That's the size of him. Look at him, he's weeny. Beautiful, love him. Love this little stamp. And we can pop him further back still. So useful. These little stamps are just absolutely darling. Well, yeah, I just can't get enough of them. They're fabulous. Now then, I've got a stamp that I haven't seen people use for a long time. And that's the cherry blossom tree. Now this is an early stamp. This is LAV 015. So it's been there a long time. I'm going to ink it up in Nocturne and pop it onto that hill at the back of the badger. Now I'm going to use a bit of copy paper just to mask that hill off just a little bit, because otherwise it's going to be a bit too tall for the scene. So I'm going to pop him in about there. There. That worked. A treat. It's a beautiful little stamp, isn't it? Ideal for this time of year. And we're going to offset that with cherry blossom. And this is LAV 176. So again, another slightly older stamp, but beautiful all the same. And again, because I want this to stand out, I'm going to ink up in Nocturne. Let me just clean that off and my thumb before I get a dirty mark everywhere. It's always worth just having a little wipe down. And I'm going to pop this one over this side. Hi Max. Happy Good Friday. Welcome. There. So that's the stamping done. Beautiful range. Now I am, when I can get some tissue, I'm just going to clean off my badger a little. And I'm going to do that with water. Just going to wash him over. Just to lift out some of that white again. There, that's all it took. Marvellous. Excellent. So let's give that a quick dry, just to make sure. Thank you, Helen. Very kind of you. You guys are lovely. You know that. If nobody's told you recently, I'm telling you now. Yeah, lovely. You lot. Right. This is my masking fluid brush. And I still like to use my soap just to protect the brush, make it last that little bit longer. We invest a lot, so we best make the most of them. And for a change, I'm going to use some of this gilding glue. Now, this is fabulous. It's very loose, it's very watery, but it's very strong. So do be careful. And I'm going to paint that around my badger. That's where I hold my breath. You don't have to hold yours as well, you know. Just me. Now, this is a badger set with a difference. And I'm sort of freehand adding a bit of a circle round him. Let's put a little just there. Don't want to miss that bit. Quite arty, I think. A mixture of realism with a flash of artistic license. And why not? So I can see that. I'm hoping that you can too. Oh, bless Max. We did start a few minutes late, to be fair. My evening started with technical issues. I had a bit of a meltdown, a bit of a panic, but you know, we got over it. So whilst that's drying, I'm going to move to these flowers, and I am going to use some pastel pencils. These are the Kohinoor Gioconda soft pastel pencils. What's the glue thing I'm using? The glue thing is called gilding glue. Is the glue thing I was using. Now I'm going to add a little white pastel to my blossom. I'm trying not to do the rock chick thing, but it's hard when you're holding pencils. Those that know. That's all I'm saying. And whilst I've got this out, I'm just going to add a Mandy Trait moon bow. I can add a little inside there too. There. Just a little. And then I've got a pink. Oh, I didn't like that one. I missed some. Keen, you see, keen to crack on. Why do I use the glue, Amanda? Okay, I wanted to paint. If you haven't got gilding glue, you can use your quickie glue pen. You can use Versamark, but you need to be able to paint with it. You can pretty much use any glue. Your bippity boppity is just a little thick, or that is all, and it'll raise it from the card, but it's not a problem. It'll still work, but you do need to leave it to sort of set to go off. And while we're over this side, I've got a Posca pen. Oh, I love my pastel pencils, Mags. And I know you love your pencils, but I do love pastel pencils. They do add a softness and depth to a picture, I think. Beautiful. It's Mona that taught me to use them. I used to use a lot of charcoal in the past to create depth, but not pastel pencils, but these Gioconda ones are gorgeous. So I'm just adding a bit of white blossom, hints of, over on this tree. There you go. I'm not being precise, but it hints at it. If it's roughly in the right place where all the blossom is, that's fine. And we can add centres back in to our blossom. There. Beautiful. Now this, I suspect, is almost dry enough, so I'm just going to heat that up. Just to dry it off a little further. You can use this gilding glue for all sorts. It's I like using it as well to seal a bit like Mod Podge, but you do have to leave it quite a while for it to go off. Right, now I've got a big clean old brush that I'm going to lift some of these flakes off with. Don't breathe. Everybody hold your breath now. And I'm just going to pop them down. On top of my glue. I love how these come in sheets sometimes, don't they? Huge amounts of it. Look at that. You just open it out and you get all those different colours. Fabulous. He's going to have the nicest den. And then you just buff it with your brush. And it turns it into one sheet with all those different colours. It's really quite magical. I'll hold it up in a second. Let me just polish that bit off. There you go. That bit wasn't behaving. So it actually makes like one sheet, but look at all the colours in that. It's quite amazing. Love how it works. Pop the leftovers, all your leftovers, even the dust, back in the tub. It'll go on and on and on. So I've used Glamour for that one. There. Right, now we've got some finishing touches to do on the gold. And this time I'm swapping over to my Quickie glue pen. And I tend to use this when I want a little bit more detail. And this is where the arty bit comes in a little. So I'm just adding some freehand shapes just to break off that circle a little. And don't be in a rush to get back to your glue, it's fine. We're not rushing. Oops. We're not rushing anything. I've got a thing about Quickie glue pens, I think, now. I get through them quite regularly. Just a couple of shapes. And then for added interest or madness, however you want to call it, a couple of large circles to take that design up and into the card. I told you it was a little bit arty. So that's what it is. And then some dotted lines from one to the other. Just to give that a little bit of shape. Put another one in there, I think. And now we've added that little bit of magic. Yeah, I'm going to leave that like that. I'm going to put on there some embossing powder, and I've got polished gold. This is super fine. So we're just going to sprinkle that all over that glue. Remove any you don't want. Pop that back in the tub. Again, like the gilding glue, it goes on and on and on. And then I'm going to heat that up. Mags. I stumbled across it. I had a bit that didn't emboss after I'd been stamping with Versamark. And I haven't got a Versamark pen. You can get Versamark pens. I hadn't got one, so I thought, I wonder if my Quickie glue pen would work. And lo and behold, it certainly did. Which is quite magical, really. It opens all sorts of possibilities and designs to straighten that out. Wow, look at that. That's a bit different. And then to top that up, I've got a gold Posca pen. This just makes the gold a little bit softer, not quite as in your face as the embossing. And we can add some almost starlights over the top. That's better. If your Posca pen's working, that is. That's better. You can add your own thing, whatever it is that takes your fancy. It doesn't represent anything. It's just what it is. You know me, I like a bit of sparkle. And before I go any further, I'm going to darken the base. Because it's in the foreground, it needs to be darker than the background. So I'm going to use Olive Elements, which is a water-based ink. Morning, Pippa. Morning. Good evening, Pippa. I don't know where I was going then. So I'm just going to run this across that base and up the side of his set. There, that's plenty of ink added. Now I just need to watercolour that back down, like we've done before. Make it all blend in seamlessly. Oop. Brush has gone dry. Just blending that up and around. Fabulous. Right, we need to finish our little houses. So I think we can put some lights on in those windows, a bit of golden light, I think. And how about a little bit of smoke coming up from those chimneys? It's a nice still evening. Look at that. The smoke's going straight up. You have to do it, don't you? Thanks, Max. Right, I have a black. Ooh, do I want a black? Yeah, somebody's run off with the brown one. Is that dry enough? I think so. Bit of a shadow. Around that den. Just adds a little more depth. I'm going to use a very light shadow under those houses. Now the moon's up there, so it's going to roughly, if you aim your shadow to go from the centre of the moon to where the item is, the object is, then you can see the shadow falls in a certain direction. Now I think I'd like to darken off that sky just a little more. So I've got a blue pastel pencil. gently on and a smudge to help that blend in. And it does make quite a difference to the top corners. I love how all these products work beautifully together. And it's a case of having a play and enjoying what you find out. Be amazed what you stumble across. The gilding flakes are glamour. Sally, there you go. They're gorgeous, aren't they? Beautiful colours. Absolutely gorgeous. One last thing, and then we'll mat and layer it. And I'll let you good people get back to your chocolate. Or do you save them till... I'm going to add a bit more blossom. Or do you save them till Sunday? When do you eat your Easter eggs? I don't have Easter eggs. I'm diabetic. I'd rather not. I'd rather live without it, thank you. I do have a little bit of chocolate every now and again. And I've tried the diabetic chocolate, but it's not the same. There, I'm happy with that. And now we can add just a few stars in our sky. You can flick it if you want, tap it. Mags, you know Sally far too well. It is a gorgeous colour, and it's the way it makes one blanket, I think, always fascinates me. This one's a bit stronger. There you go. Now, actually, because we're environmentally friendly, that's not smoke from a fire. It's low carbon fuel, and it's the steam off the kettles that they sit on the fire, because that's what I do. It's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So there, it's a little bit different. Look at that shine. The colours are just magnificent. There, let's do some mat and layering, shall we? Before we get carried away, I could spend hours just titivating and playing with a card like this. Shh, I won't tell her again. No. There, cutting mat is out. And we've got our trusty bippity boppity glue. Our layering rules and my knife. And what colour we're going to put this on. I think we need to put this on a white card to start off with. Thanks, Max. Cheers, Sarah. You guys, so kind. For those of you not doing anything Easter Monday, I'm here on YouTube live at 12:30. For those of you that are normally working, or say if you're not doing anything, you want to come and join me, what will we be making? Oh, we're going to play with the green man. We're going to make a spring version. I've only ever done an autumn green man. So I quite fancied having a go using some different stamps. I'm just going to pop that on top so I can give it a good rub. Using some spring stamps, some different stamps to create Oh, very nice. She's got quite a trip then, Sally. Crikey. I'm hoping that stuck it down now. There we go. So I think we'll have a fine white one, a fine white border. So if I'm going to go for the, what's this, 3/16 of an inch, which is 3/16 is 4.8 millimeters. For those of you in metric. Straight down. Thanks, Chris. Good night. Happy Easter. Oh, I'm sorry you're feeling poorly. You get better soon. Go and rest up. I'd make you a cup of tea and tuck you in if I could. It has been cold today as well, hasn't it? We've had rain and been freezing. They're just going into winter, aren't they, in Brisbane? The latter part of autumn and going into winter, I think. And then I think we'll put it onto navy. Oh, I love Vancouver and Whistler. I love Whistler. I've been skiing there. Love the place. Amazing. Mind you, it's the only place I've been skiing where it's rained. They're on the same latitude as us, so they get similar weather. It's just the altitude that makes it a bit colder. But yeah, it's the first time I've ever been skiing in the rain. That was a strange experience. But it is beautiful there. And we can pop that about there, I think. And again, a bit of paper and give it a rub. She is going to have a lovely Easter, isn't she, Mags? How beautiful is that? My nephew's moved to Tasmania and I hadn't seen him for a while. He'd been out there for about a year and he'd come home. He's 22 now. He seemed a child when he went out, but he's definitely a man now. He came back and we all went garden centre, his nan and me. And it was lovely just to have a catch up with him. It's amazing how much he's grown up, but I think travel does that to young people and they see the world a bit. And he does like travelling. He's travelled all his life. We always said we think he's part Phileas Fogg. There you go. Our spring evening at the Badgers set. And this is the original. Again, look at that shine. I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you, Sally. Thank you, Aggie. Bless you all. And thank you so much for joining me. I say on this bank holiday Friday, it's so nice to have your company. And I'll look forward to seeing you on Monday. Now, go steady with those eggs over the weekend. Try and get some exercise in with them. And look forward to seeing you all on Monday lunch. Well, those of you that can make it. If not, it'll be here for catch up for you when you can. Take care now. Have a gorgeous Easter weekend. Bye-bye. See you soon. Happy Easter.